In this video, I want to show you how to do this engraving using a Cricut Maker. It's super easy. Hi, I'm Diana. Welcome to Craft It Sweetly. If you're new here, don't forget to click on that subscribe button so you get notifications of my upcoming videos. So let's get right into it. For this project, I am using these pendant style aluminum pieces, and they already have the jump ring on them, so in order for me to do this, I will have to remove this jump ring. So I'm just gonna take this off because I can't fit this in the Cricut machine with the jump ring on, and then reattach it later. Okay, so that's all I need for this one. And you can really use any kind of metal piece. This is for making a bracelet. It's narrower. So what I'm doing it is for this one. So I took this off, and now the next thing I need to do is measure this, because this is going to be important in Cricut Design Space in order for me to know what size the design can be. So if I look at it in inches, this is a 2-inch pendant. So obviously I'm not going to go all the way down. My design, I would say I'd probably stick to 1.5 inches. So that's how far I'll do this. And then the width on it is less than 1/2 inch. So my design, I'm gonna stick to 1/4 inch just to make sure that I don't get too close to the edge here. 1.5 inches by 1/4 inch is my design. First off, determine what you would like to put on that aluminum, what you want to engrave. So I'm going to do a text, and I'll click on the text button, and instead of doing horizontal because the pendant is vertical, I'm going to put in, I thought it would be fun to do, instead of love, I'm just going to do amore. So I just type in each letter individually, and as you can see, the spacing is a little large. What I'll do first is the letter spacing. So if you see this here is the horizontal, and this is the vertical. So I want to decrease this, and you can see that it kind of goes together if you click slowly. I want a little more drastic, and I'll just do -5. And as you can see, this kind of scrunched everything together. Now, if you remember, I said previously that the width of this has to be 0.25, and then the height is 1.5 inches. So I'll go up here, and the height, I want 1.5 inches. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see this better. And if I look up here, now this is 0.38, and my pendant could only accommodate up to about 0.25, so maybe 0.3 at the most. So I'll change this to 0.3, which will determine then this as 1.1. Now, as you can notice, everything is lined up to the left. I want everything centered, so I clicked on center there, and all the letters are done right. Now, the only other thing to note is, now the font that I have, you can obviously choose whatever font you want. One thing you need to make sure you change is this basic cut, because obviously I'm not cutting this out of the aluminum. I want to engrave. So if you click on operation, we're engraving. So now you can see that this outline, it's only the outline that's done versus the actual letter being cut out. And the other thing you can do is, and I'm gonna make this what would be the pendant, just so that I can see what it looks like and if it fits properly. And my pendant is 2 inches high. The width on it is 0.375. So this is my actual pendant. So if I were let me change the color of the pendant so you can see this a little better, a color, and then this right now, if you look at it, is behind. So I'll bring the position of this, we're gonna arrange it and bring it forward. So now you can see where this falls on here. You can stretch this if you wanted to, so that it's not sort of all that blank space. The other option is to add some kind of another, you could add a little heart on here. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So if I look at shapes, There's the little heart. Obviously this is huge. I need to make this smaller. And I need to make sure that this is also engraved. So I'll decrease this so that it fits here. What I'll do is I'll add one more at the top to kind of balance it off. So I'll duplicate this and put one more at the top. So it helps to have the background here, because then you can see exactly where it's going to fall on your aluminum pendant. And I've selected everything right now, and I want everything aligned on the vertical axis so that it's not, you know, a little too far to the left or to the right. Okay, so I have that exactly as I want it on the pendant. And the other thing that I need to do is now I'm going to select this, and I don't want to see this at this point, and I'll select this and attach. And the reason I did that was I want to make sure that everything stays where I put it versus shifting. Now next we make it. And as you can see, this is the design. Now on here you can move this anywhere you want on the mat. So if you placed your blank right at the 5-inch mark, you can move it to the 5-inch mark. Okay, so that's how you choose exactly where you want on the mat to print it. You not always, by default it always goes to the corner, but you don't need to keep it there. You can move it to this other corner or to the side, wherever you want. So once you have this, then you can continue, and it will look for the maker, and then we're browsing materials and it's aluminum. So I'm just choosing aluminum sheet as far as what I'm engraving on. Okay, so we're done with that. And then what you need to make sure is that you have the engraving tip in your maker. And for this I'm using the strong grip mat. So I'll set it down at the 5 mark here and just press it down really hard to make sure it sticks. And then in addition to that, I'm going to add a little bit of tape to make sure that it does not shift. Okay, and then we take it over to the maker. And for this, I did move over the 2 rollers to make sure that they don't interfere with this as it's going through the machine. So there is the blank all engraved. Now the next thing that I want to do, and as you can see it's nicely centered, so at this point you don't see it as well. I mean, you'd have to be pretty close up to see it. So what I like to do once I engraved it is I'll take a Sharpie and just go over all of it. And it looks like, okay, did you just mess up all that? What you just did? No, I'll show you what I do next. So right now I'm getting the Sharpie right into, besides my fingers, right into all the parts that are engraved. And once I do that, and you can repeat this process a couple times to make sure that it goes in right. And then I'm using a little pad. You can get this where you do metal stamping. It's just a little foam kind of pad, and I wipe this off. So it all comes on here, except the part that's engraved. So it looks like you're taking most of it off what you just did, but it's really just cleaning off the excess, and wherever the engraving is, the Sharpie is still there. And again, you can repeat this if you'd like. I mean, you don't have to do the whole surface area, you can kind of stick to the letters also. Okay, so once you have this done, then I put the jump ring back on. And before I close this jump ring, I'm going to add this on here, which I can then use as a keychain. I mean, you can turn these into earrings if you wanted to. I hope this video was helpful in figuring out the engraving tool for your Cricut Maker. If you have any questions, please comment below. If you do any of these projects, please join my Facebook group and post your project there. Would love to see what you create. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next project.